have like this skin tag right here.
Oh man.
And then I gotta put medicine on it. And then the medicine makes it turn white for like 2 days.
Man, that's a hell of an intro. Now, this is Wolves TV episode 7. I'm sitting here with Best Dad Media owned, Best Dad Studio, the man of many names, many companies, Kyle Gordon right here.
Hello.
Now, Kyle, you know, I kind of got an introduction to you on the music scene about 2019 or so, around that time, shooting
strip
music
club.
videos. Yeah, I mean, yeah, technically we did, but I want you to speak on that time in your life. I know starting a media company. When did you get the media company started?
Oh man, I guess so 2023, so maybe like 2013 was when I started under KG Videography, I think was my name, and then it was KG Media, and then it wasn't until 2020 that it was Best Dad Media. But so I guess 10 and a half, maybe 11 years, something like that.
Now, what made you want to go with Best Dad coming from KG Media?
So my initial reason for switching the name was to get myself out of the name. So I didn't want a company that was my name as like the front of the company. I didn't want it to be Kyle's company,
Right.
or I always wanted it to be a brand and to be bigger than just me.
So it could survive without you.
Yes, yeah. So exactly. So that thing could be a standalone by itself. Other people can represent Best Dad Media a lot better. I didn't feel comfortable with other people representing my name. Like, that's just weird to me. Other people do it, and that's fine, but it wasn't for me. And so it was during the I wear the hat. I've been wearing the hat for a long time, but that's a whole story. But then, so I got kind of known in the music scene as Best Dad. I started wearing the Air Monarchs or the New Balances, and like I just owned the brand kind of there for a little while. And then a fellow rapper tagged me in a post and said, "Video shot by Best Dad," and like just that standalone, to me, it was like, wow, wait a minute, that's kind of neat. I'm gonna run with that. And Best Dad Media, I'd never heard of anything like it. It kind of was its own brand. I get noticed because of my hat out today. Literally, I'm at an estate sale and somebody walks past me and goes, "Best Dad Media, I'm a fan of you guys." And we were like, oh wow.
So how many kids do you have?
5.
5 kids?
We have 5 kids.
The energy you got to have 5 kids.
No,
The
I'm
sanity.
exhausted all the
I got
time.
one and he wears me down. But like, speaking on being the best dad, like how do you feel you're emotionally involved in like your kids' development? Like, do you feel like you're a positive reinforcement? Like, how do you feel about that?
Wow, so that's deep.
Hit him pretty deep right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I'm coming with Gayle King. We're gonna relax.
So, my kids now are getting into the teenage years, which is crazy. It was a lot easier to be kind of this positive role model when your kids are really young and they look up to you as God. Now they see my weaknesses, my vulnerabilities. So there's a lot harder conversations. My kids are going through like a lot, they're going through problems like cussing and, hanging out with people that do things that maybe we don't want them to be doing yet. Things like that. So like there's a lot harder conversations to say like, guys, look, and also knowing that, and they know that I haven't been the best example. So they've seen a lot of my weaknesses aired out in public and things like that. So it's been a ride. So they don't view me as a superhero, but they still say that I'm worthy of the hat. So it's been I guess that the hat's been a daily reminder for me to just always be that, to try to be. It's never been to me like, oh, this is a proclamation to the world, I am the best dad. It's always been like, Kyle, try to be this. Put on the hat and try to be this every single day.
That's kind of what I sense when I first seen the switch with the brand and then seeing the Monarchs and things going on. I'm like, Man, this kind of makes me want to be a good dad too. I mean, that's just a serious type of thing. It's just sometimes you need like that self-reflection constantly. When you look in the mirror, it says best dad, and if you're not being the best dad, it's kind of like a slap in the face. Take the hat off.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like you said, they have basically breaking down the fourth wall and got to see your vulnerability? So how do you reinforce that positivity even when they get, you know, information quickly before we're comfortable even having these conversations with them? The internet already gave them what is perceived to be the answer. So how do you combat that and try to give them another direction?
I just try to be the best that I can be moving forward and letting them know that mistakes happen, stuff happens. We can always change who we are. I think at this point in my life, I'm 37, I think now. So
you think you're 37?
Yeah, I would have to. I'd have to ask my partner that question. But
when is his birthday?
May 14th, 1985.
I mean, once you get to 40, who cares anyway? It's just like you're coasting.
I felt that way once I got to 30. It was just like, okay, but I'm really in my best years. But I feel like this has been like version 5 of me. Like at one time I was trying to be a Baptist minister. Like at one time I was selling drugs. At one time I was like, there's been versions of me that are way out there, you know, but those were past versions of me. And now this version of me is my favorite version, and they get to see this version up close now. So
that's crazy. Like I do understand, and that's a hell of a dichotomy, going from maybe I want to be a minister to let me just do the media thing. Because even when I was younger, like I grew up, my mom's went from an evangelist to a minister. Now she's looking to be a pastor, or she might have already became a pastor. But it's like I'm over here leading a whole different direction, but I kind of circle back and realize even though I'm out here doing these different things, I could also try to find a positive outlet with this too. Yeah. You know, that's why I kind of wanted to get with the book club and teaching people, you know, like, we might rap and we're artists and do everything else, but literature is also important with arts and things like that. So can you speak on like your educational background, like college or anything?
I went to college 3 different times, never graduated. It just wasn't for me. Once life always got in the way somehow. You know what I mean? It was a lot of different things, a lot of different reasons each time that I dropped out. But life always seemed to get in the way of me in college. So, you know, once the 3rd time happened and I was, I think in my early to mid 20s when that 3rd time fell through, and I was like, you know, that's when I was trying to pursue the Baptist minister thing. And
was it a seminary school?
Yeah. So, and then once that thing fell through, that I actually lost my daughter. So I dropped out during around the time right after losing my daughter, and you know, that obviously had an effect on me. So, but then life ended up going a different direction anyways, and that wasn't the path that I feel like I was truly happy with. And then once all of that fell through and I had nothing else, it was kind of like, okay, I do have this camera. Let me just see if I can make this happen for like a year. And then if nothing happens, I was kind of in a situation where my sister was really nice. Let me rent a very small room up in her house, but I was there with my sister, and she kind of let me just have that year to kind of just chase this dream and then make it happen.
Those people are important. Like I always say, like the people who allow you to live out your dream and they support it, even if it's not even that they're giving money or anything, they're just not getting in your way. Like, people don't realize how big of a thing that is to just not be in the way and not feel like, all right, it's about me. Let me tell them to think about me while they're trying to pursue their dream, because eventually the dream you're pursuing is going to help everybody.
Yeah.
So
just
like,
support. Yeah.
Wow. So how do you see, like, you're in a relationship now? Like, how have you two grown together and kind of gained that support to where you're bouncing ideas off of each other, because a lot of people are in relationships where they can't really speak on their dreams with each other.
Yeah, so my partner is like the number one supportive person that I've ever met. She became a part of my business because she begged me to be a part of my business. She saw the parts where I was lacking and she said, I can plug these areas. I can help on the business side. You don't know, and I didn't know how to run a business. I was buying books to try to figure out how to run a business because I'm a creative guy. Like my desk is a mess. Her desk is organized like to a T. So we just operate on different levels, and she's like, look, I can help you. And so then it got to where I said, okay, well, Best Dad Media, if you're going to help me this much, Best Dad Media is yours too. Like, so let's run this together. And we've done like little retreats where we go away and we just talk about dreams. We haven't done one in a while. We probably need to do it again, but where we just talk about our dreams and we try to facilitate that. We have these little questions that we'll go through at nighttime. Sometimes there are like 10 different levels of questions where we just talk about dreams and our past and our failures and all of that, but we try to stay in constant communication with that stuff. She knows my weaknesses. We don't need therapy, but we go to therapy together because we just feel like we want to be vulnerable. She needs therapy, I need therapy, so let's just hit it together and go two birds with one stone type thing right now.
About like doing therapy or something before, or some type of counseling. But I think there's always been like a misconception with what therapy is.
Yeah,
what it does.
especially for men.
So how was that for you, being like somebody, you know, as a man going into therapy and realizing now I have to be vulnerable with somebody else and talk about my personal problems? Like, how was that for you?
Right now, it's one of the hardest things that I've ever done. It's a struggle every week for me to go because I don't like exposing things that, you know, some of those things in my past or reliving that stuff. I like to just run from it and just put it out of my mind and not deal with it. And now getting older, that's just causing problems. You know what I mean? And I want to be healthy, and I want to be fully healthy, and I want to live a healthier and better life, and again, be the best version that I can be of me. And I've done all these steps with my doctor. I've done medication. I've done all this stuff, and me and my doctor just said, hey, you know, we just really need therapy, you know. I think you've tried everything else. Do this.
Because, I mean, I kind of wanted to go. It wasn't necessarily for personal reasons, but once I started thinking, well, I guess I could say it's personal, it's relationship-wise, but not necessarily to find out what's wrong with me, more so what's wrong with the relationship. And I had to realize, like, oh, no, I have to also figure out what's wrong with me, too, and deal with those demons before I can fix any problem here. So how, like, you said you struggled with things in the past and different things you tried to run away from. How has that impacted your relationship with your kids now, you know, because some things you don't want to talk about, and that maybe has caused you to be hardened in certain ways or unforgiving in certain areas. How has that impacted your relationship with your kids?
Yeah, I definitely have. You know, there's still conversations that will have to be had, and things that, you know, they don't know the full story of why I divorced their mother, why me and their mother got divorced, you know, things like that, conversations that still I'm putting off as long as possible. You know, I'm not going to bring up until they bring up, and then, of course, then it's going to be one of those, moments, like, God, we got to have that conversation now. But there's still those areas, and there's still, and there's things like rules that I have that, you know, maybe because of my past, like I don't want them making mistakes that I've made or things like that. But we try to have that same communication with them that we have with each other. She's way better at it than I am. She loves to communicate and just always learning everything. So then, you know, we hear things like when they're hanging out with people or they have friends over and then the friend leaves and they say, oh, he's walking home because he wants to smoke on the way home, and we're like, gosh, I don't know if I want to know that right now because you're hanging out with him, you're 50 or 16. Like I don't want you doing that yet. Like
it's always the little small nuanced things that, like, my dad didn't know a lot about me because we didn't really develop much of a relationship till I was around 16 or so, and then I ended up going to college, and it was still like we were talking on and off, and then we slowly started to hang out, you know, as I would come back to Louisville. Sometimes I would come back to Louisville and only see him and then drive back to Bowling Green, you know, and that was just me searching for a relationship with him. But it's like he's military too, you know, kind of a hardened dude, almost got like 15, 16 kids. So he's already just like
Lil Wayne style.
Yeah, he's really wasn't just like, and it took a while, you know, especially with him having cancer and stuff. Like, I had to pry information out of him, and some things when you get older, you're kind of afraid to ask your dad, or you don't know how to ask them, you know. So it's kind of like I was waiting on him to initiate the conversation, so I felt comfortable to ask because as a kid, you don't really know if, like, why would I speak on him and my mom's relationship or something. You don't really know if you can ask these questions.
Yeah.
It took, like, my partner to where she would get information out of him and tell me, because he wouldn't say it directly to me, but he would say it to a buffer. Yeah. You know, and that's when people they'll start trying to find other people to talk to instead of you directly. And then if something were to happen to you, you wouldn't be able to address the story yourself. So I don't want it really. I try to convince people to just, like, you gotta initiate it as the dad too, just because kids don't know and they get real nervous to ask questions. Like, they just let things go with the flow. Yeah. But off that subject, like, I want to get more into your media brain. Like, you made a hell of a switch from minister to media, and just by seeing a camera. And I know when I was younger, like, the internet and being in the social media and all of that was considered like witchcraft, you know. It's idolizing something else, you know. Media is just, it was just almost seemed as like something negative. So how did you, like, see it as something positive for you? I know what made me want to pick up a camera. It was kind of to change my life, but, like, what did you see that you could do with the camera that maybe other people weren't seeing that you could do?
So I actually got my first camera assignment was in the church. I was doing other creative stuff at the church. It was a larger church, and the pastor said, hey, I want this video to play before I preach. And I was like, okay. So I made this video that was like trash.
Church videos.
Yeah.
Like, just slap I got these photos, but let me talk over it.
It was so bad, and people liked it. And then, like, so I started doing other videos, and then somebody then asked me to do their wedding. And so then one day I woke up and I was a wedding videographer. I was like a really good, respected wedding videographer in the area. And then going through a divorce, I shot like 30 weddings the year that I was going through a divorce, and that was really hard.
Yeah.
It was
seeing people start while you're stopping.
Yeah, right.
It
was really hard on me. And then the next year was COVID, and then, like, that was so crazy. And then I was like, okay, I'm done with weddings. And that was when I really switched into full-time, just going after music and media and small businesses, and really trying to make a name for myself, I guess, with this.
And which one do you enjoy doing the most? Like, clearly weddings wasn't at the top of your list.
No.
Like, did you have more fun shooting music videos, stuff for small businesses? Like, which one excites you as a creator the most?
So telling people stories, you know, right there, telling stories that matter. That if somebody comes to me with a project, regardless of what it is, and they have a story that they want to tell, then that's what, if you have a clear vision, that's what's going to excite me the most. But I think my style is more like that kind of documentary raw style. So I think, you know, I guess that style, telling personal stories, sitting down with people and really diving into their personal stories, that's something that I really love. But having fun, I definitely have fun shooting music videos too. So, you know.
I mean, yeah, everybody does. That's a whole different. I've never shot anybody's. Well, Forrest Gumption, I've shot something for him,
Yeah.
but I've never really just taken on an assignment and taken somebody else's idea and brought it to life. So, like, in that process, do you edit the videos yourself?
Yeah. Right now, I'm the meat of the company, I guess, when it comes to that. Oh, that was a weird meat of the company.
The meat and potatoes.
So I'm the lead video guy and the lead editor. I kind of want to change that. I have somebody else that's on the team that I want to bring up to be equally is what I do or in their style, but or better in other areas. I'm not very good with like effects or things like that, so I would like an effects person.
Anybody who's wanting to work with Best Dad with effects, VFX, whatever you know how to do, send in that resume, man.
Yes, real
Get
talk.
that going.
Real talk.
We'll send you to the important person to talk to. Kyle here is just gonna, yeah, man, send it over to Amanda anyway.
I will literally tell you, that's literally
that
what
right
I'll
over to
say.
Amanda.
I'll tell you to email Amanda at bestdadmedia.com.
So, like, as far as cinematography, who is maybe a music video director or even film directors that you may see that you kind of pattern yourself after, or you just taking inspiration from?
Yeah, I think music videos in general are one of my biggest forms of inspiration. I watch every music video pretty much. And a lot of Friday is one of my favorite days because that's when new music drops, and it's always been one of my favorite days since middle school. So that's when I really became obsessed with music. I think a lot of people did. That's when you find your
That's when I was
style of
exchanging
music.
CDs.
Yes, on the school bus, and
just like, yeah, a lot of CDs got stolen on the school bus. If you let somebody borrow, I let somebody use my Get Rich or Die Trying CD. Traded them Lil Wayne, the Carter 2 CD. I remember I had that and never seen my CD player again.
We had cassettes back then. It was so in middle school it was for me it was Ghetto D by Master P. That was like what really got me hooked into.
Did you make like demo tapes, like those little cassettes where people just
you would record it off the radio?
Oh no,
that's what you had to do back then.
See, I remember recording my ringtone, or not the ringtone. Well, yeah, ringtone as well, but like the voicemail using the stuff.
Yeah,
playing the music too, like hello, you reached me. I remember them days, but I never had like a tape player.
Yeah,
like that.
We had tapes. And you would sit by the radio and wait for the song to play on like B96, and then as soon as the song would start, so you would never get the first like 3 seconds.
Somebody coming in and talking. Now you gotta wait.
Bella Ray come on, and you're like, God, Bella, why are you talking?
Hey, nowadays that would be horrible to try to record the radio. You got hella O'Reilly ad commercial spots or whatever.
Everything just over top the music and DJ drops every like 30 seconds.
So speak on your introduction to hip hop music. Like, if you going back to recording tapes on the radio, like, what got you into the music scene in general and wanted to be a part of it?
Yeah, so I fell in love, like I said, in music back in middle school, on the school bus. Somebody introduced me to Master P Ghetto Dope and rap. Before that, I wasn't allowed to listen to rap music. But in middle school, a whole new world opened up to me. And I had like a really rough life growing up, and I wasn't like I didn't have the upbringing that a lot of my white friends had. And I know that sounds weird, but I never had a dad. I lived in poverty, very, very bad poverty. My mom had AIDS growing up, so we were very, I had a very sick mom, didn't have a dad, very poor. A lot of bad stuff just always happened, and a lot of the realness, the rawness, even the pain that I heard in hip hop was something that just I felt, you know. And so whenever I went full time into media, I thought, okay, I'm good at weddings, so I was doing that, but I wanted to branch away. So I thought, what else could I do? Maybe I could do realty videos, or I could do music videos. That would be fun. So I just started people that I respected in the area. Peter Wesley was one of them that I reached out to in the very beginning. I wanted to shoot Dunkaroos because I really like Dunkaroos. Okay. And but he had already shot it, and he just hadn't released it yet. And I was like, no. But him and a few other artists in the area. ATM is one that I worked with early on, Chance and Calhoun. And it just kind of clicked, you know, like it felt good to do that. Those artists trusted me. Back then I was sending artists wedding videos, and I was saying like, hey, can I shoot your music video? I don't really have that to show.
I know that feeling because we just got finished shooting like a birthday gala. Yeah. And it was like right after shooting that, this guy hit me, a cousin of mine, and he was like, hey, can you shoot music videos? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, essentially it's the same thing as what we just did. And he's like, nah, but have you ever shot a music video? I'm like, I mean, yeah, but I'm telling you, a 30-minute video that looks like a music video, I'm sure I could shoot a 3-minute video. Yeah. But it's kind of hard giving people like that, I can do this, you just gotta trust me type thing.
It was hard. I had a lot of people not hit me back because I had nothing to show. And then as soon as you have something to show, as soon as you put out one video, and I've told Amanda this a lot of times, like, hey, if during slow periods where we've had to take a step back, and then she'll start to stress out when that step back is done, and I have to remind her, like, hey, as soon as we do one video, we'll shoot more videos. Like, people, as soon as people see the product, then they're like, oh yeah, he does pictures, he does video, let's bam, 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 and then we're slammed again, and then it'll be time for another break. And then it kind of like, this business kind of goes like this, but owning your own business allows you those like little, let's take a week off, let's take a breath, and then let's dive back in, let's take a breath, let's dive back in, because man, that like always on the grind stuff is hard.
Can you speak on like how you've managed that, you know, consistency, but also finding a way to take a break? Like, when do you feel burnt out?
It comes on quick sometimes for me, and the key is really finding a way to do things that you're passionate about. And you know, sometimes you have to do things that you're less passionate about when you're grinding, right? So you have these highs and lows also with like projects that I really want to be a part of, and then things that I just need to be a part of because we got to pay bills and we got to make money and things like that. So I found if I can get a good flow of those, then it really helps that train move along. And then that mixed in with, if we can take breaks, if we can travel, if we can get away or whatever, that helps too.
So like, speak on starting the media company to where it is now. Like, what were the steps in the beginning for you getting it started, and how have you like stayed on this path to increase it? Like, what do you do for somebody who may be watching who wants to pick up a camera? Like, what do you see as the first step?
The first step is to just go and to do it and to really put in the work. The best advice that I ever heard was from a famous photographer, and he had said at this conference, if you want to take good pictures, start taking pictures and just shoot stuff. If you want to be good, then the best thing to do is to get that camera in your hand. That's one thing that film school can never teach you, is the experience. You know, you really need to get the camera in your hand, and you need to get the experience of shooting stuff. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, go for it. Even if it doesn't pay the bills at first, just go for it. It doesn't. Just but that's fine, and that's why we made Best Dad Studio. But I'll get to that. But so it started for me doing a lot of free stuff, doing a lot of very cheap stuff, and Best Dad Media, when it first started, I lived in a studio apartment that was half the size of this room that we're in now, if that. And I had a Murphy bed. I would fold up the Murphy bed, and I would pull down a backdrop. I would take my son's bed was a couch that would fold into a bed. I would take that, move it up against the wall. That would be seating, and then I had a little backdrop that basically ran into the seating. And my kids would play over by the kitchen on these stools, and they would play on electronics if they were there, take pictures. And then now, we were in Best Dad Studios recording this. So we have a house with a studio, but it was a long journey to get here, a long journey before. I don't know a lot of months where she's came to me and showed me how much we've made and been like, yes, look at this, like, we're killing it. But there have been months where we've done that, and luckily, by grinding and just by sticking it out and by not letting the hards get to me, even if they get to you, let it get to you for a little bit and then bounce back up and keep grinding, because then you can get to a bigger place. But you have to, people say shoot for the stars, whatever, like go past that, just keep running, because if not, what else do you got? If not, you can go work for somebody else and do the 9-to-5 grind and Monday through Friday, whatever that is. And if that makes you happy, that's great. We need those people. I can't be one of those people. I need this.
Okay, so what do you see as like the goal of Best Dad Studio? Not only just being somewhere people can book, but like, do you see it as you becoming like a media outlet to where you're producing content, different types of things like that? Do you want to start having a show and where you have some talk show, or what do you guys offer as something more than just a studio space?
This is an amazing question. Amanda's smiling because you're asking this question, because this is something that people aren't clear on. But so we have two businesses. Best Dad Media, which is a production business, and then Best Dad Studios, which is a small studio space, rental space, which you take advantage of.
I do.
But so Best Dad Studios is for content creators of any type. We try to offer affordable space for content creators to be able to create their dreams. We have access to larger studios, and it was like this level that was unlocked. We had never saw something like this, but I've been in other studios, and like being able to shoot in studio and get that experience, or to have that space, allows you to not worry about a big block when it comes to creating things, especially in the Ohio Valley. You can't always shoot outside, and even if you are always shooting out, then that's great. Outside photography is great. I still love taking clients outside, but that's having that space to be able to create without very many limits is what we want Best Dad Studios to be. Anything else? Is that right? You're right. And then Best Dad Media is our production company side, where I shoot the content, or my team shoots the content, where we can do commercials, music videos, we can do podcasts or different things like that. I don't have the bandwidth right now to do my own thing when it comes to that, but I really like making other people's projects. So like if other people have a podcast, hit me up. I would love to talk about how we can make that come to life, or how we can make your music video come to life. Or if you have a brand, I love to tell brand stories and that. So that's the Best Dad Media side. And then, but people are very confused every day. Whatever we put on Instagram, because we have two Instagrams, it's very confusing right now having the two separate companies. And so Best Dad Studio, we posted right now, studio rentals are 20% off for the month of November. And we posted that, and somebody said, yeah, I want y'all to take our pictures on the post. And we're like, oh, well, that's the Best Dad Media pictures aren't 20% off the month of November. But maybe if you hit us up, and you saw the ad, then I would probably, maybe one of those businesses that, some companies, like, they'll just honor it. They'll be like, okay, I'll honor the coupon.
Code type of deal.
Like, this isn't even our restaurant. This says Penn Station and you're at Coast, but we'll take it.
So, off the top of your head, give me your favorite movie.
My favorite movie is Braveheart. With William Wallace. It's Mel Gibson plays William Wallace. Have you ever seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Braveheart. So that's my favorite. Gladiator is like a close second. Okay. So those were movies as a kid that I just fell in love with the stories and like
I love the
heroes.
Watching Gladiator. Like a Saturday morning, nothing. You had no bills to pay as a kid or nothing. Just sitting there watching people get sliced up.
It was such a good movie.
So do you see like yourself as more of a horror fan, rom-com? What category do you see?
Right now, I'm more of a documentary fan. Like as I've gotten older, I really like stories. So I just like to watch real life stories and hear stuff and that's kind of how I get educated with the world and what's going on is short form documentaries and things like that. But then if we're watching TV, we're kind of all over the place. We kind of like shows. That we're more show watchers than movie watchers.
Give me a good show you might recommend.
Oh, what do you think? It's hard off the top of my dome. I know I keep talking off camera. My partner's off camera, people.
It's so cool. We're going to put a photo of her right here every time she speaks. The Amanda button.
We're watching Good Girls right now.
We're watching Good Girls right now. But
Good Girls.
That's not necessarily
the one where
the best.
She gets involved with like a drug dealer or something
like
that.
Yeah. Both of us had started watching it.
I love her from Mad Men. I love her.
Yes.
That's like my Hollywood crush right there.
She is a Hollywood crush. Yeah, she is good.
Reasons.
But I really like the relationship of her with that drug dealer. With their relationship is kind of cool to me too. I'm like, yeah, y'all two.
There's been a lot of good like female lead shows popping out of the woodworks. But now, media now, that's kind of why I wanted to get into it because I see like how everything is getting its shine and the smaller creator can create like a movie or something that gets big recognition, just off the strength of putting it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And people get millions of views and stuff. And I'm like, I wanted to create a movie. So have you wanted to create any type of long form type of films or anything like that?
I do want to shoot a long form documentary, and I have a couple ideas in mind, but that is a goal of mine to have like that I direct, that it's 100% me directing a full-length documentary with a team of people that would be a big production. And I guess that's what has always been holding me back, is I don't want it to be just me running gun and doing it. I really want it to be a full production that I can put the money into it, to hire the correct people to really do it, But so that would be what I would want to do more than anything. And I think with inspiration like that, like Spike Lee would be like a big, like if I could do something like one of his documentaries or something, that would be really rad.
I love Spike Lee films and docs, especially when he uses the dolly shot. Most of his action movies, Spike Lee is slick, underrated type of deal.
Yeah.
But before we get out of here, I do want to you to have a moment to say anything that you feel that people need to know about yourself or anything. We're going to come back and talk to you again, but we got to wrap up. I got this crazy wedding situation I got to go to. But I'm going to give you the floor right now.
That story needs to be told.
I know. We'll be here for 30 more minutes, and I'm going to miss the wedding. So let's... anything, Kyle.
No, yeah, I think, our biggest thing that we stand for is to just, I've said it before, is just to try to be the best version of yourself every day. And that's what we really live for here at Best Dad Media. That and telling stories that matter. And so if I had a shameless plug, if you have a story that you think matters, like regardless of what that is, that could be short film content, it could be a podcast, a music video, your brand, pictures, if you want to tell a story that way, whatever it is, that's what we're here for. But also if you're a content creator, because I know that a lot of content creators watch this, Best Dad Studio is really here for you to create content. All the way down to our payment scale is we're flexible, we're affordable. We have a 30-minute offer that if you just need to come in and create really quick content, you can. Our 30-minute wall, we're very strict on it. It's only 30 minutes, but it's actually pay what you can. So whatever that is, whatever you can afford at that moment, we will literally take, and we won't judge you. If it's a McDonald's burger because that's what you had to give, like as long as it still tastes good, like I'm gonna take it. Like we want you to be able to create, and then we want you to be able to create enough to where you can afford those next level packages to where are 1 hour or 2 hour or whatever, and you can create more substantial content. But yeah,
true. Make sure you manifest, man, because before I came, like, I figured we was gonna shoot downstairs, but I was like, man, I wish I had a plant and like a neon sign or something behind me today. And we ended up here shooting, you know. So
yeah.
Tell stories that matter, and hopefully this story mattered to you. This is Lone Wolf with the Lone Wolf Podcast. We're gonna get out of here. I'm sitting here with Kyle Gordon in Best Dad Studios with the man, 1/2, 1/3, 1/8 of Best Dad Media. However he wants to split it up. And we're out.
That was good. That was good math.